I'm going on a journey, Paul. We're going to go smart. So this is my journey to go smart now. And I'll start that journey at the beginning. I started with the Merseyside and North Wales Electricity Board in 1980. Merseyside and North Wales Electric. It was great. That's what we did. Electric in that area. You want electric, you come to us. The sales strap line was, do you want electric or don't you? No messing. And then competition came and developers, who were my customers, my loved customers, said, we want multi-utility. This was the one trench now. So we started putting gas, water and a duct for BT alongside the electric. Life could not get much better in the exciting world of utilities. And you think you've cracked it then, and you're giving the gas back to the gas board, the water's throwing them all over the place. To asset owners who didn't say thanks very much, they said, oh no, the sand's the wrong colour, we can't adopt that, we can't use that. And then people started to say, these developers, can you come and work in Manchester? We were in Merseyside. That was over the border. We didn't work there. Merseyside in North Wales, you said it on the van. But we went over the border one night, crept in there and did a bit of electric. And then Norweb crept back the day after and did a job in our patch. Competition was coming. My guys then went out to Leeds from Merseyside all in one day and come back the same day. And they spoke to this developer and said, you're not going to believe this. We're going to dig one trench and put a pipe in, a cable and another pipe and a bit of a duct. One trench, one company. Revelation. How much? £2,000 a plot. He said, how much is your gas? We said, about £500. He said, I'm getting paid 300. So they come back to Merseyside, spoke to me, right, knock 50 quid off. No, you got it wrong. Instead of us charging 500, it's not free, he's getting paid 300. So a few things here. Innovation, multi-utility, the cost of things coming down and down and down because of competition, which is where we'll get with all this good stuff, and asset ownership. This company that I now work for, I've been here about 10 years, own networks forever. It's in perpetuity, but I struggle to say that, but it's the same thing, forever. And then share the revenue stream back with the developer to discount it. So I'm looking at innovation here, and I'm looking at models of owning assets, an asset owner, to hang things on. So life moved on then. The developer then said, on the next big job, there's going to be no gas, I'm going to have an ESCO. It's before I had an iPad. That's quite smart, isn't it? I didn't have an iPad. So I looked it up in the dictionary, and I realised what an ESCO was for the first time, district heating. So let me take you to King's Cross, which is St Pancras and King's Cross Station there, and it's all that bit there. And that's where Argent are building out. They're probably halfway through. A lot of it's in place. The big Google head office is more or less the central strip, which is coming next. That's unique. Certainly in the UK, if not Europe, I'd be bold enough to say. No one's yet said you're lying, but today might be the day. But in there, we own all the electric, all the water, all the wastewater, fibre, district heating and gas. So one company, and there's a reason, not just aren't we a great company, there's a reason now. Someone described as a university student as a multi-vector energy model. Wow, that is the future, isn't it, that multi-vector energy model? So that's what we've got here. So we get a 132 kV cable coming off UK Power Network, and we take over at 11,000 volt and own the network around the site. And then we take a bulk water connection on the water. We take a bulk waste and own the dirty water stuff, all that lot. We have a fibre off-site to a couple of fibre providers, and then we own the fibre network. Then we set up an ESCO, and here's the model I'm going to share now. The ESCO was owned by the developer. It's actually a joint venture, but the developer Argent own the ESCO that we fully run for them. They're in control of the ESCO, but we own the heat pipe. And I'll just come back to that model because as we're opening up cities, it's a fascinating model that we're talking to one or two cities about. So partnership now, us and Argent working together for a long time, partnerships are crucial. And King's Cross today, there's the energy centre. It's based in the bottom of a building there. That came first, and then the building above it with a football pitch, an indoor sort of football pitch thing there, and then car parking, housing on top, and the energy centre for the site's right in the middle. The energy centre's got two 2 megawatt engines running today, 3 boilers as backup and peak, and a thermal store, all that great stuff. We're adding a cooling plant next year and the network, a local cooling plant in half the site, and then a fuel cell will come in 2018, and everything else, wind turbines. Key points here, clearly it's obvious, the heat network's key. That'll get the heat out. Any energy source, heat source can come in after that. We've got a job in Glasgow where we're looking at taking heat out the river, using a heat pump from the river. Great, as the base load. We've got a couple of other jobs where there are energy from waste plants 3 mile away, and we've popped up and said, where can I stick my pipe? We're just waiting for a response on that one, but we can plug a pipe in. There's more than enough waste heat for 10,000 homes going up in the air at the moment. So take that to homes, link it to the supply contracts for waste, and you could have a 25% discount on heat bills for 25 years there, because you've got free heat and arrangements to be done with them, but there's cheap heat there. So King's Cross will deliver better than planning a 60% carbon saving against builders normal. 60%. See where I've come on my journey from thick to not quite thick, but getting there, of every asset on that site, electric, fibre, water, district heating, heat, gas, everything. We own every infrastructure on there, and we've got a share of the energy centre, and I'm on the ESCO board with some of the Argent guys. When you've got that model at the design stage, you can talk to people like Paul. I'm sure there must be other people like Paul. I've not met anyone quite like Paul just yet, but there will be. But you can talk to people about building in the smart to start with. Do we need 3 2-megawatt engines, or will 2 do? Because now we can optimise, now we can get more efficient. Do we need the fuel cell? Can we do something more innovative with that? How do we tie? Let's link it all together is where we're going on that journey to smart. Brand new infrastructure. Big thing there, partnership on the ESCO. It's a joint venture with the developer. We run it day to day. They are the control in mind. They set the levels of heat bill. If you want to sort fuel poverty out, there's an option. Own the energy centre. Set your fuel bill. One of the reasons Argent wanted to own the ESCO was the ability, because they're doing this 3 or 4 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago now, was a concern about the level of heat bill going forward. The heat trust didn't exist then. So one of the reasons they wanted to control it was to control the heat bill and the performance. So the model we put in place here was, there's the ESCO, and we put regulated standards of performance in place, contractual, that mimic water, regulation, electric. So we put standards of performance in. And then on the other side, we've got a benchmark of a heat bill. So we did the gas equivalent several years ago and contracted that in. And then we were fortunate to become part of the Heat Trust working group on that, and delighted with the launch of the Heat Trust, I think it was last week, was it week before, that we're in there and King's Cross is part of the Heat Trust. So for me, a significant move forward of giving assurance on standards of performance of the ESCO and the level of heat bill. Not fully regulated yet, but industry regulated and getting there. And then you can wire that into contracts as well to make it binding. A great step forward. So you look at my model for partnership then. It's only one model, but it's ours, and I'm happy to share it. That you've got an ESCO, a customer pays a heat bill, and that heat bill pays us use of system. We own the network and we invest in the network from that revenue stream. The same model as electric. We've split supply, ESCO, from distribution. And then we do all of this. We manage the fuel procurement, we operate the energy centre, customer service, and fully manage that. But it's a joint venture with Argent. 90% them, 10% us. So if you take that model, same model, your ESCO investors could be us. We'll happily stand in and do the full investment of the plant where people are not interested, want no ongoing relationship. Or developers, some big developers, London developments, such as Argent, want to have some skin in the game. And that ESCO makes carbon sense, 60% saving, it makes financial sense. 7 or 8 years in now, as it's getting more mature, not surprisingly people are saying, are you interested in selling that? It's a going concern now with stable revenue streams. And equally, local authorities can come in there. You could easily extend that to a not-for-profit ESCO, and we're talking to one or two about that, of saying, look, run the ESCO at the lowest possible cost. No profit, lowest possible heat tariffs, fuel poverty. So control the ESCO, control the heat bills, and our skin in the game is we'd like to own the heat network, and that's where we're getting our benefit. Equally, we'll step up to the plate and invest in the ESCO if no one's interested. A brief bit on us to pull this together is we've got various brands as Brookfield Utilities. Brookfield own Multiplex, they're a huge concern. We invest and own all of those networks, as I've said. We've got 1.4 million property connections in the UK. It might be electric, fibre, district heating. We've got lots of revenue streams flowing there, which is great for us. And Brookfield already own lots of heat networks across Northern America, Toronto, Vegas and so on. We've got sites here, we've got sites in Greenwich Mannion Village where we've worked with E.ON. So if you take that model, what we do is there's a site, it could be a city. At King's Cross 750,000 square metres of space, about 2,500 residential properties, and 50,000 people work or live there when it builds out. So it is a mini city in itself. And we design all of the networks on the site, own them under regulation where we can. So it's just district heating that's industry regulated now. And then we set up the energy centre, design it, install it, we'll manage it, we'll do anything you want with the energy centre, and we sort the off-site point of connection out. We've got the same licences as the water companies and the off-site electric companies, so we'll negotiate reasonable costs for the point of connection. We'll stagger connections and capacities, all that good stuff. We're looking at one or two projects, which I'll come back to actually. How do we go smart with that? Well, if you think now we've got all of the on-site networks, it includes an IDNO regulated electric network, connected into the energy centre, so we've got control over where the power flows. We've got one point of connection back to the grid. We've got a nice control point now in the energy centre and primary substation. We've got an unlimited fibre network. You can plug any controls, you can plug the building management system into that. So we've got a communications network on the site. We've got a water network, a fibre network. On one site we put in a waste treatment plant and discharge into the local river course because there was a £5 million off-site sewer reinforcement. And we've got rid of that now by putting this on-site treatment. So we can innovate there, and we've got smart meters on water, heat, electric. It just needs joining up. It's crying out to be joined up. So the energy centre, add the software in a simple way. And the hardware, and Paul, we're going to work with Siemens on a number of projects, is what I'm pleased to let you know. We're looking at a number of projects now to say, Paul, this model works at King's Cross. It delivers financially and carbon-wise. How can we take it to the next level? How can you put the software above it? How can you match the heat, the electric load and demand? If he can stick it in his battery instead of selling to grid when it's too cheap, we can store it there and use it when we need it. And the same with heat with the thermal store. It just needs the intelligence above it. It needs to link the buildings together with the energy centre. The hardware's there. So the challenge I've set Paul now is, Paul, come back to me on King's Cross and show me how going smart gives real benefits. Because it's good as it is, let's take it better. Hydrogen storage in batteries. So that's me going smart. Now we've got a lovely model of this integrated. We control all the assets. If we can layer that software above it now, with much more than software, with the batteries, with the hydrogen storage, we really can take that to the next level. And the last summary there is basically what I've just said. Make it smart. Pleased to be working with Paul at Siemens there to look at a number of projects. And partnerships are crucial. And that's me done. Thanks very much.
Thank you, John.